I don't know what necessarily market you're in, but we're in the Northeast, and the chill in the air, we're off the beaches and back to work. And so it looks like we're live on Zoom as well. So anyway, hey guys, welcome to our monthly loan officer real estate agent call. And yeah, hope you guys are getting geared up for the fall market. I know that's a pretty busy time for us here in New England, and for the real estate agents out there, people getting back to school, get back to the routine. And it's funny, we were on a call with our loan officers a week or two ago, and the topic came up around the rates and the refi boom going on right now. And it's funny, everybody that was on the call raised their hand and said, you know what, we're purchase first, not refi. So you should be seeing your partners really be engaged, even though that there may be some refi transactions. Man, we're people that have invested into Aspire. Our central business is purchase business. So anyway, just gonna want to welcome everybody. What we did over the last month is really take 2 or 3 topics that were common questions that came in to Jake from other real estate agents and some loan officers, and we're gonna work on talking about those today. And what we encourage you to do is, if you've got questions, please do me a favor and put them in the comment section. Jake is going to be reviewing and monitoring that. He's going to be shutting me up and Rich if we're as we transition to ask us the questions and keep things going. So we've got slated an hour call. Certainly we don't need to have an hour if we get through everything and no one's got any questions, but really our goal here is to add straight value to you. And so we will run the call until we do that, and then go from there. So before I transition, Rich, do you have anything to add, or Jake, do you have anything to add, or do you want me to just jump into it?
I don't. I'm good. Take it away.
Awesome. So a couple of things is, a lot of loan officers and real estate agents, man, have had some really great momentum going, right? You sat down with your lender partner, you saw something inside the playbook that had you say, yeah, this is for me. And then the suggestion of adding a third party to the book came up. And, then you're thinking, okay, who are we going to add? Typically it's a title company, attorney, insurance agent, financial planner, something to that effect. And what we've noticed is when we go down that road and someone isn't automatically like, I'm in, you know what, I'll support the real estate agent's business, and I'll take a third of that. I love to be in the back cover of the book and be in front of the buyers. I'm in. That's easy, right? And that's what typically what happens. But what we've heard is well, the real estate agent, the insurance agent's kind of hemming and hawing. It's a little bit of an investment, and it's the financial planner is just unsure about how it would benefit them. Guys, what I recommend is don't get in the way of the momentum you've created. If that person is hemming and hawing, doesn't see the value right then and there, trying to convince them or just spending that time moving your wheels on trying to do that, man, you could have your books in and ordered. Every book's just a couple more bucks. At the end of the day, the system is created to drive business back to you, right? So, man, one deal pays is what I think 100 times the cost of the book. So probably even more than that. So don't get tied up with, oh my God, it's gonna be a couple more bucks. Just go with it. Get it in. Because the faster you can get these books in your hand, the faster you can be in action around it, the faster you can be with your vendor partners and be getting deals in the door and elevating the customer experience for those buyers. So, that's what I highly recommend. Move on. You, the loan officer, you guys think it's great, move on. If you can find a partner that is really I totally get it. Yeah, a couple bucks a book, and I can go in and be front and center, showcased. I'm in. So wanted to touch on that. One of the successes that Rich and I both have had with the third parties is people that are getting business already from either the loan officer or the real estate agent, right? So they want to contribute, they want to support, they want to be in it, they get it. So that's don't spend too much time on it. If you're getting him and Han, like, we'll get you on the next one. You can order books again. So you can with your agent, your loan officer partner, just put another order in when someone steps up to the plate. So yeah, that's what I had on that first question of, well, my third party's dragging their feet. Who cares? Move on, get going. The fastest you get that order in, the faster we can get it to the printer and get it in your hands, and the faster you guys can be in action around it. So I got on that. Does anybody have any questions from the participants? And if not, let's Rich and Jake. Anything on that? You're good. Jake, you're good. All right. Cool. So the other question that we had framed, and this is from a couple of people, is I have the overall theme is how does the real estate agent position themselves or frame the conversations with the vendor partners? So some called us and said, hey, I was really surprised when I talked to my financial planner, or a financial planner, just a random financial planner. They didn't love it as much as I thought they would. And so Jake uncovered a ton of context, and he essentially had her go over the scripting that she used when she picked up the phone and just called a random financial planner. And that scripting was kind of like, hey, I've got this book and I want to give it to my agent, my buyers, and I want your business cards and I want you to send me business, right? Getting a cold call like that, and really, as you can imagine, to someone that just picks up the phone, it fell flat. But what happens up in your brain is you start analyzing, oh, well, maybe this playbook's not going to work. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Well, yes, yes, you're doing it wrong. So, Jake just really had them go back to the training that we spent a lot of time on. Mark is amazing with his language and the way he has the agents show up powerfully to these meetings. And, when agents do that, I mean, it's a 99% close ratio, right? Again, short of a real estate agent, being a husband or wife of this individual, or best friends, or like, people are saying yes. And so you have to go back and look at what the delivery looks like. Okay. So, first start off, and so I'll go through a couple of steps here, but again, for all the real estate agents on this call, go back to that training, and listen to it. Again, do it in the car on your commute in, or while you're walking around the neighborhood or at the gym. It's just so valuable, and it will allow you to get to the end goal and your end result of business coming in the door. Okay, so first starting off is, what is the playbook? So I pick up the phone, and again, I'm a big wuss. You guys all know that. I don't make cold calls. It's not up my alley, right? So I play it like I want a warm introduction to anybody that I'm actually looking to meet with, talk with, potentially get business from, and potentially add value to. Okay, so figure out a way to get a warm introduction from a friend, a family member, coworker, whatever. And I, whenever possible, meet in person. Listen, it could be a 20-minute coffee, but meet in person. If you can't, that's fine. But there's some things that you want to pay attention to. They don't get to see the asset. They don't get to see the look on your face when you're like, man, this is going to drive business back to us. So first, meet in person if you can. Talk about the playbook. Use the language that, listen, this is a ridiculous resource for my buyers. Man, I give this book to them, and they just know every step of the process, right? They go home, they read it. Like the questions that I'm getting aren't about like, what's next? It's like, deeper questions. And it just allows the agent bandwidth. So talk about the fact that, man, this is the Bible. This is the workbook that the buyer is going to go through, take to every showing, have that, have with them throughout the process all the way to closing, and they're going to keep it afterwards. And I always like to say, listen, this part of the playbook is 20%, 25% of the value that you're giving. And then you show them the back of the book and you say, this is where 75% of the value is. And I would argue for the loan officer and the real estate agent, but also the buyer, right? To have a treasure of 20, 10, 15, whatever that number is, of trusted people that the buyer will need once they own the home, that's gold. And I've shared with you guys over and over again, man, I have the worst luck when it comes to people in the trades, or people that someone gave me out of BNI, like the worst luck. And so, man, if my real estate agent had vetted all of these people and handed me this book in the beginning of the process, and I could never throw it away. And so that's where you have the ability to show the financial planner that you're sitting in front of is, man, like your business card's going to go here. And let me tell you what my pitch is when we get to that point of the book with the buyers is I walk through everybody and I endorse them. It's, hey, you got to call Dimitri. He's the best financial planner on the planet. If you're looking to do this, this, and this, he is your guy. Now that you own this house, you want to make sure all your financial house is in order. This is the guy you need to call. And right then and there, agent, like pitch, like let them know what that pitch is going to look like. I'm going to go, wow. One other thing I would say at that time, and I would turn to that financial planner, especially if you haven't used them before. My financial planner is Dimitri. Dimitri, do me a favor. Give me 3 things that people can brag to me. They can brag about you. So responsive time, hand holding. Like, tell me a little bit about you. Again, especially if you haven't used this financial planner before. And then of course they're going to want to talk about themselves, tell you all the great things about them, right? But that allows, them to get in the mindset of, wow, this is going to be a partner of mine. Like, this is going to be someone that's going to actually be able to send me business. Because again, agents, what we're talking about is, right, leading with give. And leading with give. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Going to do for you. Going to do for you. So you've shown them the asset, right? You've shown them the benefit of what's going to happen, right? The third thing is you want to talk about what the relationship will look like. Okay. So yeah, Dimitri. So here's the thing. I told you, I really want to grow your business. And as you know, I'm a real estate agent and I'm looking to really take my business to the next level. And so what I want to be able to do is refer you more business than anybody else. And I want you to think of me every time you hear the word real estate. Yeah. Is that something that you can do? And 99% of the time, when you present it this way, you're going to say, yeah, how can I not partner with you? You meet 10 buyers a year and I get a crack at them. Like, you're going to refer them and I'm going to, yeah, how can I not? Of course. And if you get a no, I want people to understand that might be even a better answer than yes. Because chances are in all of our relationships, they're casual and we send loans to a black hole that we'll never see referrals back from. Yeah. And that's, again, and you guys have all heard the Linda story, and I bring it up just because it kind of hits people through right in the center of the forehead. Linda, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you. My wife's a real estate agent. So 10 deals to a CPA that will never come back to them. So getting a no, man, it's really good to know that right now before I start sending all these deals. And this is the vehicle that allows you to do that. And it's an opportunity to say, listen, I want to check in with you on a quarterly basis And I want to just make sure that, your phone's ringing, you're getting some calls, it's working and all that type of thing. And I want to check in with you and just see, hey, have you run into anybody that's looking to relocate, that's looking for to upgrade their house? Hey, have you, talked to your clients about this strategy? Now, I'll just tell you a quick story. And this was again, my agents do this. So I've got a ton of agents on the platform that do these check-ins. And one of my agents called me and said, I haven't gotten any deals from the financial planner yet. And I said, well, hey, why don't you show him how he can refer you better? Yeah, give him some ideas, plant some seeds in his head of how he can refer you, and times that he can kind of, hey, you got to call my agent because she can do this. And I'll share that the idea that I gave her, and it's because her and I just had this transaction. Now, we had a client that was netting $450,000 out of the sale of a house, and they were moving to a bigger house. High net worth client, had a income of over $400,000. So monthly payment wasn't an issue for this guy. And she asked him a question, and the question was, do you need to put all $450,000 down in your next property? Well, they were buying $1 million house. 20% down is $200,000. And what we did was we said, hey, the $200,000 down payment, $800,000 mortgage, is that payment comfortable? And they're like, all day long. Well, why don't we take the other $250,000 and put it and buy a 2-family or a 3-family over here, right? And there's your down payment on that. And quite frankly, speeding everything up, they bought 2 2-families. Anyway, long story short, and you see what happens here, right? Now you've got 2 other assets that are paying down the mortgage, creating net worth, and the client's paying a great mortgage and all as well. Client would never have thought about that. The agent thought about it. So I said, why don't you go talk to him about that strategy? She did. And now the CPA, the financial planner is like, I'm on the lookout because I know what these guys make. I know what their net assets are. So I guess my whole point of this whole thing is it's the check-in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months that allows you to brainstorm. You haven't got any deals out of them? Yeah, let me just tell you kind of what I do, how I do it. Hey, have you thought about this? Are you having any clients talk about this? Whatever that may be. So the check-in and have an agreement that both of you guys are going to check in with each other and put it on the calendar. This is the relationship, guys. But once you get them set up, they take care of themselves. And now you've got 5, 10, 15, 20 fishermen out there fishing for you, right? And they're just sending deals in your door, and you've already set up the relationship. It's clockwork, right? So, yeah. What does success look like? Define the relationship, right? And then do the 4th thing again is that check-in. What are we doing? How can we do better? We've had the team team out of Ohio, right, Jake? Is it Ohio?
Sorry, I was on mute. Idaho, I believe.
Idaho, and it's the what team? Richard and Primrose. Yeah. So guys, these guys knock it out of the park. We had them on a couple of months back on a webinar. If you did not see it, go see it. They've had the playbook. They had the playbook for like 160 days. They had 36 referrals already. These guys have mastered it. But what they've also done is their check-ins are quarterly mixers that they invite everybody to. Like that's their check-in, and everybody's networking with each other. Everybody's, growing their business with each other. And these guys are just huge, huge connectors. So a bunch of different ways that you can cultivate and stay in touch with your sphere, but just keep building them. Upgrade the meetings. If you feel that you got off the phone and it just fell flat, yeah, you did it wrong. Because if you can clearly show a vendor that you have the ability to partner with them, send them business, and they can send you business, like it's a no-brainer unless they are so tied into their current relationship. And not many people are. We just see it, right? And I've got almost 70 agents. Rich has got almost 70 agents actively in New England on the playbook. So we're in tune. We're on the street. We're in the trenches with you guys. We see it, week in and week out. So That's really what I wanted to do and get across as far as the positioning and framing the real estate agent and vendor call. One other thing I'll add to that, and thing that's been huge success in my loan officer business, is I will go with the real estate agent on some of those on the financial side. I love going and sitting with a new financial planner. So my real estate agent, the financial planner, and myself, creating that triangle of trust, estate planner, all the time, going to those insurance agents, maybe not so much. I've got one or two go-tos, but and then real estate attorneys as well. So loan officers, if you've got some time and the calendar sync, go with your real estate agent, sit down with them, because again, the more business that you can funnel, the stronger the relationship gets, the faster your business grows, and then you don't have to worry about where your next deal is coming from. Okay, because it's coming from all of these vendor partners that are sending them to you. You're not out there door knocking, cold calling, and doing all that kind of stuff. So that is what I have right now on the vendor partner upgrade your meeting questions. Jake, how'd I do?
Doing great.
And well, we pay you to say that, but really,
no, good job. I think the only other part that I have in addition to, I think Rich is about to cover coming up.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't I shut up, pass it over to my partner, Rich Clayton, and let you clear one of the third thoughts, and then go from there.
Hey, thanks, Rick, for setting that table for me. I just want to say hello to everybody and welcome to our September real estate agent loan officer call. And looking at the people that are on our call today, I just want to acknowledge the fact that we have about 50% of the people on our call today are loan originators, and the other 50% are real estate agents. So for those real estate agents that are on our call today, it's great that you have your loan officer partner that is doing the work every day, helping you to become a better business person, getting more deals in the door, trying to support you, because it's all about you, right? And I want to re-emphasize a couple things that Rick talked about, and that was, being non-self-serving, like asking the real estate partner, like, what can I say that would be brags about what you do and how you do it differently than other real estate agents. So when, myself, Rick, or all of our loan officers that are on our call today, when they're introducing a real estate agent to one of their clients, here are the things that we're bragging about, and it came from the real estate agent. And, we wouldn't know that unless we were in inquiry. And being in inquiry with your real estate partner, understanding, number one, what do we want you to, what are things we can brag about you about to make you look in the best light for the client, and understand they're working with a phenomenal team, with the loan officer, real estate, attorney, title company, whatever, who's ever on your team, your home buyer team. And, the next thing that Rick talked about was like, hey, what is the best way to refer you? That again is not a self-serving question. That's all about the real estate partner. And, again, I really give a lot of credit to our loan officers that are on our call today and that are part of the Aspire community, because they've taken this step to really help their real estate partner to do more business. So, definitely go back and, thank your real estate, your loan officer for taking the time, spending the money, doing the work to really make you more successful. And that's really forming a great partnership. So, for the real estate agents that are on the call today, we have been speaking with many real estate agents that have been calling us, ones in our own sphere that we work with every day. And we're checking in with them constantly and asking them, like, how are things going? The realtors need to be doing that with their third parties. And, I've asked them, like, how many referrals were you able to give to your community? And how many referrals are you getting from each person in your community? in your sphere of influence. We're calling that our community. And, I'm getting everything from I get a referral a month to I haven't gotten a referral in 6 months. So, it's a great opportunity for me to say, like, how are you staying in touch with that person? Are you meeting with them weekly? Are you meeting with them monthly, quarterly? Or maybe you haven't even had time to sit down with them in the last 6 months. It's going to take a little bit of work to create the relationships that you want in order to generate the business and the referrals, not only that you can give, but that you can receive. And that work is, it's going out in the world and being powerful with language, being powerful with intention. And that intention leads to taking those relationships, as we've talked about in the past, from really casual to committed or intentional. So, ask yourself, how many referrals am I able to give to my realtor, to my community partners, my referral partners, and how many referrals have I received from each partner? And, what is the frequency of meeting with them, getting back in touch, and being in inquiry? And being in inquiry, maybe after your first meeting, your 5th meeting, your 10th meeting, if things are not going the way you want them to go back and revisit that relationship and be in inquiry and start taking that relationship to the next level. So ways you can do that, being in touch more often, being more intentional at your meeting, creating agreements. We've talked about the service level agreement in that it's a co-created agreement between you, the realtor, and your sphere of influence, whether it be your builder, your financial planner, or what have you, is we're going to form an agreement around how we're going to refer one another. And when we do refer one another, how we're going to treat the client. We don't want to leave that up to expectation because we know expectations always fall short. But agreements, when we have 2 people that agree on something, the likelihood of that occurring the way we want it to is significantly more than if we just leave it up to chance. Like we've discussed that. As a matter of fact, we did a webinar probably about 6 months ago. The whole hour was focused on agreements and being more intentional versus casual. So if you haven't listened to that in a long time, go back and listen to it. If you can't find it, reach out to Jake. He can resend it to you. But, elevating your relationship with your community is what Rich and Julie Primrose from the Primrose team in Idaho has really mastered that Rick talked about, is whether they sit down with their referral partners every month, they do the mixers every quarter, they're always being in touch and trying to elevate that relationship and figure out ways through being in inquiry with them whenever they're together, being really intentional about bringing their relationship with each person in their group to the next level, to be able to identify an opportunity to refer that person more business. And, like Rick said, in the first 130 days, they generated 35 referrals, client either buying or selling that they wouldn't have generated otherwise from their referral network because they were intentional with that relationship. They weren't getting those referrals when they had a casual relationship, but they worked on it. And, it's like, the apples or the fruit of a tree is the last thing to come. You plant the tree, it grows the roots, it grows 20 feet tall, and years later, or in this case, it might be months later, or even days later, that's when the fruit occurs. So in order to get the fruit, being the referrals, you got to do the work. And the work is just going out in the world and being powerful with the people that can refer you business and that you can refer business in return. So you got to believe me when I tell you, every agent I've spoken to, either in my business or around the country that has sent us questions, there is a direct correlation between the amount of business they're doing as a result of the referrals they're receiving from their community to the amount of work they're doing on their relationships. Those who are being more in touch being more intentional, creating agreements, maybe using the service level agreement that we have as an asset on the website, using powerful language, being an inquiry, how they can help their business partner do more business. The people that are going out there and doing that every day, every week, every month are doing more business and getting more referrals as a result of that. It is a direct correlation. So, we've gotten a lot of questions regarding, I had a meeting with somebody and things aren't going the way that, we thought they were going to go after the first meeting. My next question was, well, how often have you met with them? Well, I probably haven't met with them for about 6 months. Well, there's the problem. You met maybe 1 or 2 times. You formed an agreement around how referrals are going to work and who's going to do what and how you're going to treat the client. And if after the next client that doesn't happen, like that's an opportunity for you to go back, revisit the relationship, revisit the service level agreement that you put together with your business partner, your referral partner, and elevate that relationship to the point where they are thinking of you, you are top of their mind, and the next client, like they're going to do a great job. And that's just one way to help elevate that relationship, is going back and making sure that they understand the agreement they put in place with you, that they're honoring that agreement. Because they're not honoring the agreement, like that's room for conversation. And it doesn't always have to be, a bad meeting. You're not just reaching out to your CPA, your financial planner, your landscaper to say, hey, listen, like you're not honoring our agreement because I had a client call you and you didn't call them back for 5 days. And part of our agreement was you were going to call back within 24 hours. But if they're doing it, if they're honoring your agreement and they're calling the client back and they're treating with respect and they're not gouging them on price and everything that you decided between the two of you was an agreement, like you want to give them accolades for doing that. Like, hey, listen, I just want to call you up and say, hey, thanks for doing a great job, my client. I really appreciate the fact that you made an agreement with me. You're honoring your agreement. And like, because you're in my circle of really trusted business partners, referral partners, like I'm going to try even harder to get you even more referrals. So, it can be a good call. It could be, we need to work on something. Whether it's we got to work on something or you're giving somebody an accolade for something they did, what you're doing is you're strengthening that relationship. You're making it a more intentional relationship. It's becoming more committed versus casual. So before I go any further, does anybody have any questions? Raise your hand in the chat. Throw down a question you have for us. Jake can respond to that. Jake, how are we doing on time?
We're great. 30 minutes in, so.
Okay, great. So listen, I'll take questions from either the loan officers that are on our call today or real estate agents. Let me preface this by saying to our real estate partners that are on the call today, what issues are you having with your sphere? 2 is how many people are in your sphere that you would consider are kind of your top echelon, like people that you really move from casual to committed. And 3, how long have you been doing it for? And if you've been doing it for a month, listen, I understand that the frequency of meeting with them might not be, every month or every quarter. But for those real estate agents that are on our call today that have been using the Playbook platform for the last 6 to 12 months, we'd love to hear from you. What is the frequency that you're meeting with your preferred business partners or your referral partners? I'm working with a team here in the Boston area. And 2 years ago, they did 50 transactions. Last year, they did about 72. And this year, they're on track to do 100. Their goal is to do 90. And we started diving really deep and trying to determine or figure out, like, what changes do they implement in their business to go from 50 to 70 to 100. And there were a lot of things that they did, but one that really struck me was, you ever hear the saying, never eat alone? So never eat alone means, like, if you're at your desk one day, one afternoon, it could be coffee, a breakfast, or lunchtime meeting. If you're sitting at your desk and you're having lunch by yourself, you're losing out on an opportunity to have a meeting with somebody, whether it be somebody you don't already know, somebody that you know relatively well, but they're not at that top echelon as a committed referral partner, or somebody that is referring you 2 people a day, like they're in your inner circle. If you're not meeting with them, then you're wasting an opportunity to build another relationship, make a more committed, more intentional relationship with that person, and create the atmosphere, the environment for you to refer business back and forth to one another. So what I did with this team about 6 months ago was, based on the concept of never eat alone, we formed an agreement together, because we're kind of in a coaching arrangement with them. And the agreement was they were going to have a meeting every day, 5 days a week. Saturday and Sunday is optional. If they want to do 7, they can. If they want to do more, they can. But at minimum, they're going to have 1 meeting a week. And what constitutes a meeting is either going to be a buyer appointment, a listing presentation, or sitting down with a new, existing, or potential referral partner, and being an inquiry at that meeting, showing up powerfully and being full intention about what they want to get out of that meeting. And that was, how can I refer you more business? What can I do for you? How do you prefer to be referred? Like, how is the relationship that we have going, and what can I do to strengthen that? Since they've been doing that, I think they're averaging about 6 a week. Over the last several months, the amount of appointments, listing and buyer presentations they've done have increased by about 20% week over week. And it's not just because of the meetings that they're having with potential buyers or sellers, but with their sphere of influence, with their preferred business partners. They're elevating that relationship. And from those relationships and being an inquiry and getting to know one another better, if you will, elevating that relationship, they're getting more referrals. And like, I really want to focus on the fact that they're not showing up to that meeting saying, boy, Joe, you know what? I've sent you 7 referrals and I haven't received a referral from you in the last 6 months. Boom. What does that do? Raises a wall of adversity between the 2 of you. Instead, hey, Joe, listen, of the 7 referrals I sent you over the last couple months, like, how did that go? Did that translate to business for you? How did I do in referring you? Could I do it better? Are there other types of people that you would prefer that I refer you, or are the people that I'm referring you, like, are they right within your wheelhouse, and they're the scope and job and discipline that you do every day? Like, how's that going? And continue to lead with give. If you've given and you're not getting, give some more. Lower that wall of adversity, and the person on the other side of that table is going to say, wow, man, this person keeps on showing up with intention to help me grow my business. Man, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I got to get this person a referral, or that spigot's going to get shut off. So, you can elevate that relationship by giving more, being an inquiry about how it's going and how it's going for them. Maybe this person's saying, yeah, I got to be honest with you, Rich, you've sent me 7 referrals in the last 6 months, and they're just not the type of referrals, the type of people that I really want to work with. But I really appreciate you thinking of me. Like, wouldn't that be a great thing to know? So my next question might be explain to me again, I thought I understood the type of client that you wanted, but why don't you help me understand better the type of client that you're looking for, so I make sure that I send the people that you don't want to somebody else, and the people that you're looking for I send to you, so you can get more business out of it, make more money, and quite honestly, I'm thinking if I'm doing that and meeting your needs, obviously he's going to be thinking about me in return. So we haven't got any questions. That means everybody on our call is doing a perfect job, and everybody has 50 referral partners in the back of their book that they're receiving a referral a month. Raise of hands. Who has 50 and receiving a referral a month? If you're not, then I would argue there might be an opportunity to upgrade in many different ways. Number one, how do we get more people into the book? Number two, the right people into the book. Because remember, it's quality, not quantity, as we've learned from Vinny Sestito, Keller Williams here in Concord. First 2 months using the playbook, he filled it up with 60 people. And, he was like going through the yellow pages trying to find people to put in his book, and realized really quickly that is nothing around commitment and intentional. That was just a face. And those people made him look bad. And, he had to restructure how he did that. But, going out and getting from 10 to 15 to 20 to 30 to 40, how can we help you get more people in the book that are committed to you and that you're committed to about referring business back and forth to one another? What can we learn from Rich and Julie Primrose? Is it a mixer that you need to be doing every quarter? Is it a monthly lunch meeting that you need to be having? Is it a weekly phone call? Like, pick the medium that works for you and stick to it. Like, it should be on your calendar, booked out 2, 3, 4 weeks. Getting back to never eating alone. Like, your calendar should be booked up for the next 2 weeks. If you've got a noon to 1, or maybe you prefer breakfast, 7:30 to 8:30, or maybe you prefer drinking, so we'll do a 5:30 to 6 cocktail hour. If you've got space in your calendar for a meeting, what I would suggest is be intentional this week and try to book out your calendar at least 2 weeks in advance. Get those filled up with potential business partners or current business partners that either, one, you think there's an opportunity to elevate the relationship that you have with them, or if they're doing such a phenomenal job, like, just be with them and, really acknowledge what they're doing for you and keep on asking them more about what you can do for them. Like, you can always elevate your relationship with everybody in your sphere of influence. Rick or Jake, do you guys have anything to add to that?
Yeah, actually. So when Rick was speaking earlier, there was something that was hinted at, and I thought to say something, but I thought it might fit better in your conversation, Rich, or in your topics that you covered. To me, it occurs to me that we use a lot of specialized terms. Like, there are a lot of things that we say that we might have to define on these calls, or within the training that requires some type of definition, but some people might already have a preconceived notion of what they mean. And all that's great. It's a really easy way to communicate and make clear what it is that we're trying to do, and what a lot of our loan originators and real estate agents are trying to do using a playbook. As I see it, the most important thing is language. And I think that's like the single thread that runs through everything that we create, and really everything that we say on these calls. And I thought, Rich, when you were talking about being intentional, being clear about your language and using clear language and not deviating from the things that you said you were going to do is one of the easiest ways to be clear about, what it is you're trying to accomplish with the playbook. So all that to say, an easy way to just make an impact on all of these things that we've talked about today is just being clear with your language. Be clear with your language, declare what it is that you want to do with this thing called the playbook. And whenever you write an email, or whenever you pick up the phone or meet somebody in person, bring a level of formality to your language that has them know that this is something different. Like, you're trying to make a real difference using this book. And I think in doing that, all of these other things will kind of start to spider out, and you'll realize that, hey, you've got business coming in the door because you've made an impact on somebody. They saw you as somebody who's serious about what they're doing, and it can turn into whatever you want it to be. Just be clear about it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Jake. That's That's great. And, just to kind of expand upon that a little bit, we use, like you say, specialized terms, commitment, intention, being powerful. One that I didn't talk about, and that was, we've talked about on other calls, and that is really showing up as a leader. Exhibiting leadership with your real estate partner, or exhibiting leadership with your potential referral source, your potential partner. Don't leave it up to them to meet you where you are, but you show up as a leader to them and to the relationship with intention of, like, not just getting to have lunch with them and talking sports the whole time, but you're showing up with intention to elevate your relationship. And what you want the outcome to look like at the end of your meeting is strengthening the relationship and moving that from casual to more of an intentional, a more committed relationship, because that is what is going to create the environment for them to refer you more business and for you to refer them more business. So yeah, show up with intention, use powerful language to get across what you want to get across, achieve what you want to achieve in that meeting. Knowing that what you're trying to do is elevate that relationship in order to create referrals back and forth or not. So we have about 10 minutes left to our call. Nobody has raised their hand for any questions. So, Jake, is there anything that we haven't covered?
No, I think we're good. Rick just came in. His iPad or laptop has died.
My iPad does.
Listen.
I think it's a really good time to wrap up the call. I mean, I think that Jake, like you bringing up language, is probably something that we should concentrate on a little bit more, maybe on the next call, and just allow some of our community to start to use some language and different phrasing and different framing, so that you can say words that will actually have people do what you want them to do. And it's, it's really simple, really just changes of some vocabulary that can start to make a big difference. So, Jake, thanks for talking about that. And Rich, I think you did a great job on the end, really talking about partnerships and stuff. So I'm complete, man.
Great. So if nobody has any other questions, and remember, reach out to us, reach out to Jake, support@aspiremarketingsystems.com. If there's any questions you want to, share with us, we're always looking for feedback to try to make these calls better, more informative, to be able to give you more value so you guys can go out and, really knock it out of the park. So with that said, we hope you guys have a phenomenal day, and we look forward to our next call in October. Take care.